Hello everyone, I'm Stephanie from Interhack Study in Bulgaria, and this video is for people who are planning to move to Plovdiv, Bulgaria. There are two options to traveling to Plovdiv. I would say the main two options actually are going to Plovdiv airport, which is around 20 minutes by car from the city center of Plovdiv, or you can fly to Sofia airport. This is very common among international students, for instance, because Sofia airport is the biggest airport in Bulgaria. Sofia airport is located around 1.5 hours by car from Plovdiv, and there are several ways to reach Plovdiv from the airport. The first option is by car. You can rent a car. I advise you in this case to maybe look for car rental before you fly to Bulgaria, so that you're sure that there are cars available when you arrive in Bulgaria. The other option is, of course, to travel by bus or by train from Sofia to Plovdiv. However, keep in mind that the central bus and railway station is not located at the airport. Instead, it is around 40 minutes by car from Sofia airport to the bus station. So, usually you can go by metro. However, public transport is not available 24/7, so keep this in mind. You can go from Terminal 2 at Sofia airport by metro to the railway station, and there is a free shuttle bus between Terminal 1 and Terminal 2. Don't worry about this. Of course, bus and train are the cheapest options for you. However, there is nothing like an English-friendly mobile application that will help you see the bus schedule or the train schedule. So if you're coming for the first time in Bulgaria, you may consider booking a taxi in advance. Because usually if you catch a taxi, like a random taxi at the airport, they might charge you too much. So I advise you to look for options before you fly to Bulgaria, maybe like a week or two in advance. Usually a taxi transfer that is booked in advance may cost you around 100–150 leva. It really depends on how big the car is, how many people there are, how much luggage there is. So it depends on that, the price can vary. But of course, this is the most expensive option, but also the most convenient one. When it comes to culture shock, I don't think Bulgaria is that different in comparison to other countries, especially European countries. However, I think the biggest challenge for you may be the Bulgarian alphabet and language. So before moving to Bulgaria, make sure to learn some basic phrases like hello, thank you. Locals will love you. Of course, don't worry, there are English menus in restaurants, there are a lot of international dishes, and locals are also very friendly. However, it will make your life easier if you speak at least some basic Bulgarian language. Nobody expects you to know the local language. However, I think you'll feel much better and you'll be much more open to our culture and language. The city of Plovdiv also welcomes people of different religions. So, for instance, there are many churches and also there is a mosque in the city center. So now you're in Plovdiv, you want to settle in, maybe you're looking for accommodation. Don't worry, apartments are usually furnished. I have made a detailed video about accommodation in Plovdiv, about real estate agents, rental agreements, prices. Make sure to check it out. I'll place a link to the video in the description down below. I'm sure you'll find it very useful. When it comes to buying things in Bulgaria, you can buy everything in shopping malls in Bulgaria or in supermarkets. So don't worry, even if you have to buy bed sheets or pillows or plates or glasses for your apartment, don't worry, you can buy everything in the shopping malls, in the big supermarkets. Also, when it comes to food, we have a lot of supermarkets in every neighborhood in Plovdiv, so don't worry. Talking about food, there are many international restaurants in Plovdiv. You can explore the cuisine of Greece, Turkey, Italy as well. Of course, there are many Bulgarian restaurants. I definitely recommend you try some Bulgarian dishes. If you're interested in halal food, keep in mind that there is no halal food in supermarkets. However, there are a lot of halal places like restaurants or butchers. I'll leave a link to a useful article in the description down below. Make sure to check it out. There are 4 main ways to travel around the city. To start with, walking is always an option. Everything is walking distance. Even Plovdiv Medical University is 30 minutes walking to the city center. Enjoying a walk in Plovdiv is actually a very good idea. Public transport is always an option. People use the bus usually to go around Plovdiv, to travel around. The ticket costs 1 lev. You can buy it in the vehicle. There is no metro or Uber in Plovdiv. However, you can catch a taxi. Taxi services in Plovdiv are very cheap. However, keep in mind that taxi drivers may not be able to speak English language, so I advise you to show the destination on maybe Google Maps, so that maybe when you try to speak Bulgarian language, the driver does not mishear you and takes you somewhere else. Of course, another option is to also get a bike. You can get a new one from a store or maybe purchase a second-hand bike from a website or a shop. Talking about expenses in Plovdiv, they're not that high, I would say, especially when you compare them with Western Europe. When you go shopping in Plovdiv, you may find that, for instance, in big shopping malls, the prices in shops are quite similar to the ones in Western Europe, especially in supermarkets or famous clothing brands and so on. However, local shops are usually cheaper in comparison to shopping malls. Usually bills are also quite cheap. Of course, it depends on your lifestyle, on how big the apartment is. Rent is also usually cheaper in comparison to similar apartments abroad. However, again, the price depends on the apartment. And what else? Services are quite cheap in comparison to abroad, like taxi services, or if you go for a haircut, there are a lot of barbers as well in Plovdiv. So everything is pretty cheap in comparison to other countries. I think you'll like the lifestyle here. Let's talk about weather in Bulgaria. We have 4 different seasons, so be prepared for a really hot summer and a really cold winter. But let's start from spring. Spring is usually from March till maybe end May. The temperature is about 15 degrees, even 20 degrees Celsius, especially in May. Keep in mind that the weather can change every day, so one day it can be rainy and snowy and the next day it can be sunny and warm. So moving on to summer. Summer is from June till maybe mid-September. Usually in August the temperature can be even 40 degrees Celsius, so it's very hot and also dry weather. And autumn is around late September and then October, November. The degrees are about 15 degrees Celsius and the weather is rather rainy and cloudy. And finally, winter is in December, January and February. Again, temperatures may be about -5 to 5 degrees Celsius and usually it's snowy, especially in January and February. There are many things to do in Plovdiv, so you'll definitely not be bored. You can go to an escape room with your friends, you can go karting, bowling, you can go for a buggy trip, you can go paragliding close to Plovdiv, horse riding, skiing is also a thing near Plovdiv in the ski resort of Pamporovo. You can also go to the seaside, it is around 2 hours away from Plovdiv. So there are a lot of things to do in your free time. You can also go hiking with your friends, and also there are a lot of museums and galleries. Nightlife is also a thing in Plovdiv. There are many bars and clubs. I recommend you check their Facebook page or official website if they have any planned events anytime soon. And also actually walking along the main pedestrian street at night in Plovdiv is a really nice idea. In terms of safety, Bulgaria is considered a safe country. Also, Plovdiv is a very safe town. Of course, walking in the middle of the night all alone in the middle of nowhere is not a good idea. Also, if there are any protests maybe happening around, it does not really affect foreigners. Maybe there will be just some blocked main streets or squares, so don't worry. Foreigners who live in Bulgaria must apply for a residence permit. Some people call it the Bulgarian ID. The application procedure is different depending on why you're in Bulgaria, if you're here to study or to work, and also depends on your citizenship, what documents you may need for the residence permit application. The application is done after you have settled in, meaning, for instance, after you already have accommodation, like a rental agreement, and the application is submitted at the migration office in Plovdiv. Talking about documents, when you're in Plovdiv, you should either always bring your original passport or ID or Bulgarian residence permit. You must have it always with you. This way, if a policeman stops you, you'll be able to prove your identity. If you don't have it, they can take you to the police station. And keep in mind that a copy of these documents is not okay, and also a driving license is not considered a valid document to prove your identity. Last but not least, it is completely normal to feel homesick. You're far away from your family, you're far away from your friends, so it is normal that you miss them and you may feel sad at times. But what I would personally advise you to do is to maybe find a hobby in Bulgaria. Keep yourself busy, really. There are so many events that you can attend. You can sign up for a sports activity. You can look for volunteering opportunities. You can explore Bulgaria. There are so many places to visit. Like you can go to the mountains, you can go to the seaside, you can go to a traditional Bulgarian village. There are many things to do. And I think it will help you if you try to learn the Bulgarian language. It will make your life easier. And also you'll be able to make more friends with locals. And you're definitely able to make a lot of friends in Plovdiv. Even if it's not locals, there are many foreigners. You can meet them, for instance, in the sports halls, when you sign up for a sports activity, when you go to a concert. There are a lot of opportunities, so do take advantage of them. And also, another thing that I can advise you is try not to compare your home country to Bulgaria. Yes, there are a lot of differences, but maybe if you do compare them, try to think of the things that Bulgaria does offer, but your home country probably doesn't. So for instance, rafting or paragliding or hiking opportunities, anything really. And I'm sure you fall in love with Bulgaria. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy your stay in Plovdiv and see you in Bulgaria.